Okay, in this video, I'm just gonna go and explain some extra bits and pieces. I think in the previous videos I've pretty much covered what I've got going on right now, and like I mentioned, I go through many iterations of things and might come up with different ways of doing things. So what these things are all about is one of those where I did the attacks actually in a different way, and I'm just going to show that, and it's still a viable way, and I might ultimately still come back to this one. That's why I'm just keeping it around just in case. But the way this one works is when I execute the attack event, which would have happened over here. This used to be hooked into this sequence here. When I execute that event, what used to happen is that, and then I do this test, and then I run the matinee, and I don't spawn the projectiles. I do that, but I don't spawn the projectiles, and then I do this. I'm using the projectile currently. It might be a better solution, I'm not sure yet, but anyway, what I used to do is execute the event. That'll run a trace from the character to my raycast target, which is actually a little target that I spawn there in front of the character, just a little bit out of reach there. So that's where the ray cast will stop. So it doesn't cast like all the way to the other side of the level or whatever, it just casts like a little piece there. And I had 3 of those. I had one casting straight forward, 145, around 45 degrees to the left, and around 45 degrees to the right, just to get a little extra range out of it. So when you attack, it's kind of a circular motion, and to get a little bit more hit space, or So anyway, cast the ray and get the object that is hit, and get the distance that it's hit at, and then I do a check. Now when I spawn enemies into the level, which I haven't covered in any videos, I guess I can cover that as well. When I spawn enemies into the level, I add them into a list, and it's purely for this function here, is so I can test against the list. Is it an enemy or is it not? If it's not, do one thing. If it is, do something else. And if it's an enemy, do this, which is get the location, and so I can spawn the particle effect for the hit. And in this one, I actually found that I needed a second list to do some other calculations with, and if it's an enemy, add it to a new list, which is then the current enemy list. So this list is going to contain the initial enemy spawned, and this list is going to contain the enemy hit by the trace. So that's pretty much it. It's to distinguish between enemies and world objects. So I can spawn, if you hit the wall you get dust, if you hit the enemy you get blood and guts, or whatever the case might be. So that's how I used to do the attacks, and I also apply damage through this. Those those three sequences there, this one, they all do the same thing. This one does the same thing, and this one does the same thing. It just does it at different angles. I did encounter some problems with that when I started trying to find the enemy and trying to damage the enemy. So I ultimately actually only used this one for the time being. Just like currently I'm using only the one projectile straight forward. I might want to spawn some projectiles in different directions to get a wider angle. So the attack, if you do a roundhouse kick or something like that, you can actually hit enemies that are not directly in front of you as well. Okay, so that's what I used to do there. So these things actually, what these are, they just checks to say if the enemy is within this range, then do the hit. So that's the check that I did to see if the enemy is close enough to hit or not. And that's pretty much what those used to do. And I think I'll call this video done and explain some more stuff in the next video.